Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Rebecca. I'm a realtor based here in southeastern Idaho, and I make videos every single week talking about life in Idaho, buying or selling here in Idaho, and pretty much just life in general as a wife and a mom and a realtor, because things get a little crazy. But in this video, I wanted to revisit something that I talked about last year, which is things that you need to know if you're thinking about moving to the area. In this one, I'm just going to focus kind of on Idaho Falls itself instead of the whole broader area, but I will make more videos on the other surrounding towns as well if you're interested in some of those. But let's just jump on in. Okay, number one, winter is not that bad. I feel like I talk to people all the time that ask about the winter and are worried about the winter if they're thinking about moving here. And personally, I love the winter, so it's not really a concern for me in general, but I really don't think winter is that bad here. I mean, we definitely get snow. It's definitely cold, don't get me wrong. It's snowing out the window right now, but it's not bad at all. I think we've had 2 or 3 days where I've gone outside and it was like, this is really cold. But other than that, I still go for walks most days. It's just not that bad being out. You bundle up and you go outside and you enjoy it. And also we've had a lot of sunny days, especially this winter. And even when it's in the 20s, but the sun is out, it feels good. It's really not that bad. Especially if you're into winter activities like skiing or snowboarding or cross-country skiing or any of that. It's so fun to be out doing that kind of stuff. I think the one thing that is a lot of people's concern is just driving in the snow. And I will say, I think that definitely is something that you just have to learn and adapt to if you're gonna be living in a place that it snows, because you're obviously gonna have to drive in the snow at some point. But in general, it's really not that bad, I promise you. And going off of that, there is a ton of outdoorsy stuff to do here, whether it's winter or summer or basically any time of year. There's always something outdoorsy to do here, especially because we are super close to Yellowstone, to Jackson Hole, Island Park, which is like an hour north of here, tons of hot springs. There is just everything outdoorsy to do here. Winter, like I said, tons of snowboarding, skiing, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, anything that you want to do with that. Snowmobiling, oh, that's really big up in Island Park and Yellowstone area. And then in the summertime, there's tons of mountain biking and hiking and boating and fishing. I mean, any time of year, hunting, any time of year. There is basically just always something to do here, and pretty much in any range from like 20 minutes outside of the city to further, of course. But Yellowstone's only about an hour and a half. Island Park, like I said, is only about an hour. That's a really big camping and hunting and hiking and boating spot. Swan Valley and Palisades are about 45 minutes away out towards Jackson Hole. There is just everything outdoorsy to do here. So if you are into that kind of thing, or if you want to get into that kind of thing, this is the perfect place for you. Number 3 is that there are a lot of towns around Idaho Falls. So if you look at a map, I'm sure you've noticed that the whole side of eastern Idaho is basically just a strip of one town after another. Especially Idaho Falls, there is a ton of little towns just kind of all centered around each other. Especially if you want to be in the like 10 to 30 minute range from Idaho Falls, you have a ton of choices. Super close to Idaho Falls, there's Ammon and Iona. Those are basically suburbs, I guess you could call it, even though Idaho Falls itself isn't that big, but it's kind of one of those things where you just cross the street and you're in a different city. There's Rigby, Yukon, which are only about 10 to 15 minutes from Idaho Falls. A little bit further is Rexburg, which is kind of a bigger city in itself. Brigham Young University, Idaho is there, so that's kind of a college town feel. There's Blackfoot, Firth, Shelley. Pretty much all of those are within even like a 5 to 10 or 30 minute range at the highest from Idaho Falls. So if you're looking at a map or you're looking at houses and you are open to being not directly in the city itself, there is a ton of choices out there. So just keep that in mind. And number 4, kind of going off of that, Idaho Falls and the area is not a very walkable city. So if you're coming from a bigger city that's very walkable, meaning where you can kind of live anywhere or live downtown and walk to most things, Idaho Falls is not really one of those cities. I guess if you did live super close to downtown Idaho Falls and you worked close to there, you could get away with it being a more walkable city. But other than that, you're pretty much gonna have to drive everywhere. It's just one of those things. It's a smaller town. There's not a ton of public transportation or things like that here, and everything is a little bit more spread out, especially if you're used to a bigger city where things are all within or super close range from each other. Idaho Falls is not really one of those cities. So just something to keep in mind. If you're used to that, you're gonna have to get used to driving a little bit more. And number 5, I of course wanted to bring it back to the housing market, and it's that Idaho Falls is definitely growing. Our housing market is up about 35% year over year. And the average median home price of houses here in Idaho Falls right now is about $380,000. So it is definitely appreciating quite a bit year over year. People are moving here from all over, and all of that growth is just contributing to our housing prices. I will say that, of course, that's still pretty affordable, especially compared to a lot of cities on the West Coast nearby, but it is something to keep in mind if you are thinking about moving here, or if you're just kind of curious what the housing market is doing here. It's definitely growing, especially as interest rates continue to go up. Things are just getting higher everywhere, and Idaho Falls is no exception. So if that's something that's been on your mind, I would love to help answer any questions that you have. I have a whole bunch of other videos on living in Idaho and things to do here and everything in that realm that I'll link down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful or insightful. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or connect with me on Instagram or just drop them below. So until my next video, I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.